Hey everybody, Destin and Gary here with Josh Norm, our tech editor, and we're going to be talking about the 2080, the 2080 Ti. I got a little bit of hands-on time. I pre-ordered one. I'm really excited to hear what you discovered about the benchmarking and the stats. How are they doing?
Yeah, the RTX 2080 and RTX 2080 Ti are the brand new GPUs from Nvidia. They were launched at Gamescom, of course. Really big deal because we haven't seen a new GPU since, like 20, like I don't know, about a year and a half or so.
It's been a while.
Since 1080 Ti came out, basically. It's been a long gut. So finally got the cards. Our reviewer, Matt Clark, has been testing it for the last week or so. Reviews went up this morning. And overall, I mean, we were kind of weren't really sure what to expect. Nvidia talked about ray tracing pretty much the entire event when we were in Germany.
And it's not going to be out for a while. Ray tracing isn't coming.
Right, so these are the first GPUs that will actually do real-time ray tracing, which is basically instead of just light being sort of designed and painted into a game, it just sort of light works like normal light would work in the real world. So it's incredibly,
it's cool tech.
It's really cool. It's also incredibly difficult to do in real time. And so they wanted to show off what that looked like in Germany, so that's pretty much all we saw. So now that the cards are actually launching, and today is the 19th, they'll be physically available tomorrow on the 20th. Unfortunately, there's not any games that are out that are actually playable with this technology in them at the very moment.
When can we expect those?
Well, it's a little bit of a guessing game. According to what I've read, that we need Nvidia needs to basically release, or Nvidia and the game developers have to work out, how the technology gets implemented in games. And so the two biggest ones, or maybe three actually, are Battlefield 5, which is going to be coming out in November, and also in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is out now, but has not been patched for the ray tracing yet, because apparently they're actually waiting for Microsoft to update Windows 10 and its DXR functionality in there, which will probably happen somewhere around October or so.
So if you got one of these cards or pre-ordered or you're thinking about it, there's the 2080, the 2080 Ti, but I have a 1080 Ti. How does it stack up?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people, myself included, were, you kind of knew because the 2080 Ti is a $1,200 GPU. It's massive in size, has almost 19 billion transistors. You kind of knew that was going to be powerful and whatever, not really in competition with anything else. The 2080 though, it's $800, so it's about $150 more than a current 1080 Ti. So that's, I think, was a lot of people were kind of curious about. Is it faster? What's going to happen? Nvidia, so there were some leaks that Nvidia's reviewer's guide came out, and they were showing about 10% improvement or so. So in our testing, the RTX 2080 and the GTX 1080 Ti are basically about the same.
Okay.
So super close, depends on the game. They're both roughly equivalent, able to do 4K 60 frames a second, depending on your settings. But the main difference is that the 1080 Ti and what it offers you right now, that's all it's going to ever offer you. It's going to be fast, but that's basically it. The 2080, it's an interesting card because there's basically this unknown technologies that are baked into it. The ray tracing stuff and the deep learning super sampling, which is something that may, it's definitely coming out for games, but we don't know how many games are going to use it, what it's going to be like, what it's going to do. We have to wait and see.
So if those are interesting to you, 2080 Ti, pretty good investment. If not, 1080 Ti is probably going to be just fine.
2080.
Sorry, you're right. The 2080. Let's talk about the 2080 Ti, seeing I made that mistake right there. The 2080 Ti, the most powerful card in the market, that's what they're marketing it as. They showed all the cool tech on the 2080 at Gamescom. What did you find out in your testing?
Yeah, so the 2080 Ti, $1,200 GPU, of course, exists in a completely different realm than any other GPU. It's for someone who's running 4K monitor and they want to be beyond 60 hertz. In our test, it was between 60 and 80 frames a second in every game we did. Substantial increase from the 1080 Ti. It's a super powerful card.
Looking at some of your stats, some of the games you talk about on there, and this has me incredibly excited. Monster Hunter on a 1080 Ti running around 33 jumps into the 60s, right?
Yeah, that to me, I haven't played that game, but that to me sounds like it's kind of like a poorly optimized possible. But yeah, it's almost double the 1080 Ti for Monster Hunter. It was 82.7 frames a second in PUBG.
These tests are at 4K 60, right?
These are all 4K, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was almost 80 frames a second in Battlefield 1, ultra settings at 4K, which is like, I don't know if you can really understand, but 4K will just kill a graphics card. Like, you might think it's a huge jump from 2560, huge. So It's $1,200. They're all sold out. You can't buy one anywhere. Maybe that'll change in the near future.
Yeah.
And right now we're getting some partner cards in from both Zotac and Asus that are 2080 Ti's as well, so we can compare them with the Founders Edition. But for now, yeah, it's going to be the king for the foreseeable future, easily.
All right, I am incredibly excited. Is there anything else we missed that you want to hit on before we go?
That's really about it. These cards are all shipping now. Everyone wanted to wait for benchmarks. The benchmarks are out. Unfortunately, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer to buy a card because, as far as from what I can tell, they're sold out everywhere. So, a lot of interest. Huge news in the GPU world, and they're both darn powerful.
All right, thank you so much, Josh. For more on all things NVIDIA, you're already in the right place. IGN.